launch my little software now and do what I do. Oh! Ow! In this video, I'll be showing you guys how to get from photo to digital. What's going on, guys? Nas here. So if you see my previous video, you know that I showed you guys how to draw someone using ibis Paint X. Thing is, about that video, I only showed you guys how to draw someone's head. So you guys are probably wondering, how do I take the same method and apply it to drawing anyone's body? That's what I'll be showing you guys in today's video. No, I'm not sponsored by ibis Paint X. I just really like using their software. We're gonna start this just like how I started the one in the previous video. So we're gonna start by adding in our horizontal lines. Now these lines are used to indicate the overall size of what you're drawing. So the highest line and the lowest one should be at the top of the head and the base of the foot. The other lines in between are used to indicate various gestures, so where the knees bend or where the knees are in general. I also have one for where the elbow is and another one where the head is to indicate the size of the head. This can basically vary. If you want to have more guide, you can add more lines. If you don't need this much, you can subtract lines. So it basically varies based off what you're drawing and what you need. After adding in all the horizontal lines, we're going to go ahead and add a little stick figure to indicate the overall pose of the image. Then we're going to create a new layer after that, lower the opacity, and then we're going to fill in, just use a lot of shapes to fill in the various limbs of the body. So the legs, the arm, where the head is, and stuff like that. So we're going to use just shapes for that. This is the point of the video where I explain my process of adding in colors to my work. The first thing I do whenever I'm adding in colors is I use the magic wand tool in ibis Paint X and I make a selection of everything inside the line art, every single thing. Then I use the base color of the skin and color in the entire image. Now I use the color of the skin because I'm going to add everything on top of that. So whenever I get to the point where I'm adding in clothes, I just go to a new layer, I clip that new layer to the layer of the skin below, and I just color in where the clothes should be and the hair and everything else that has a different color from the skin. Now below those layers, so in between the layer where you have the clothes and the layer of the skin itself, is where I do my shading. So I create new layers there, and I also clip them to the skin layer I select the color of the skin. Once I've selected the color of the skin, I basically darken it a few values, then add some saturation, then bring the hue over a bit. I tend to bring it more to the red side, like I make it slightly more red whenever I'm doing the shadows. Sometimes I have a different approach, which I learned in a video from Eric Anthony J, who's a really great YouTuber and really great artist that you guys should check out, where he says that the color of your light source and your shadows should be contrasting colors. They should be complementary, so opposites, if you will. So if your light source is yellow, your shadow should be bluish in hue. So I apply that technique sometime, but for this specific painting I did not apply that technique. So as you can see, I just took the color and I had a darker, more saturated, more red version of that color for the shadow. And I applied this for basically almost every part of the image where I'm shading in the dark areas. So I get a darker value that's more saturated and I move the hue. Notice I didn't say red. I don't use red for everything. That's a skin thing. When I'm doing clothes, I tend to just, like if you're on a color wheel, I tend to use something clockwise, so I shift the hue clockwise. I usually take this approach. Sometimes I just go with whatever my instincts feels. Whatever feels right to me, that's the direction I take the hue. But I always try to move my hue a bit to add some vibrance and like character to the image. In order to make this image pop a bit more, what I also did is I went, and I also suggest that you do this for everything you're doing. I added a new layer, and on this new layer I started to do details that are not clipped to the skin. So above all the layers that are clipped to the skin, I did the things like the individual strands of hair going out from the image, the shoelaces, and anything like that really that's gonna give this extra accent to the image and give it a little pop. You should do on a layer above all those layers, and it should not be clipped to the skin layer. So if you're drawing and you notice that whatever you're drawing, the hair is not going outside, it's probably because your layer is actually still clipped. So deactivate clipping and then you can proceed. In Ibis Paintex, the clipping icon is this arrow that's pointing down. So deactivate clipping and then you should be able to paint outside the boundaries of the skin layer.